Hello friends, my name is Oluwole Godwin and welcome to Emoji Economics. Our topic for today is simply economics and diseconomics of scale. Now today we shall be talking about the long run average cost curve in relation to this topic up here. Now there are two reasons why we have the long run average cost curve being U-shaped the way it is, and the two reasons are returns to scale and economies of scale. In one of our videos, we talked about returns to scale extensively, and then I'm going to provide a link of that video in the description of this one in case you want to check it out. It's simply why the long run average cost curve and the short run average cost curve are U-shaped. That's just the topic of the video, so the link is going to be under this one for you to check it out. Now, what is economies of scale? Now, economies of scale is simply the reduction in average cost, the reduction in the long run average cost, okay, as a result of a firm's expansion. Now, a firm decides to expand and then it experiences a reduction in average costs. Okay, we are going to see that how that happens in a minute. And then what is diseconomies of scale? Diseconomies of scale is simply the increase in the long run average cost curve as a firm decides to expand. That is, a firm builds new plants or just decides to expand in every way, which is usually when it's built new plants. Now, you see, when we talk about economies of scale, what a lot of people just talk about, or what they just think, is when a firm expands and then it experiences a reduction in the average cost. Now, I want you guys to just know something, that you see, economies of scale is actually divided into two. The economies of scale as well, that is also divided into two. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, economies of scale is divided into internal economies of scale and external economies of scale. Now, this economies of scale is also divided into two, which are the internal diseconomies of scale and then the external diseconomies of scale. You see, the earlier definition I gave you, they just happen to be the internal economies and diseconomies of scale. That is, what is the direction of the average cost when a firm decides to expand. Now, what is external economies of scale? External economies of scale is simply the reduction in the long run average cost curve as well when a firm is located where other firms are. Okay, so that is where there is localization of industries or localization of firms. Now, external economies of scale is simply the increase in the long run average cost that occurs when a firm stays within other firms. Okay, that instead of staying alone, okay, a firm is then cited among other firms. Now, you see, this also brings us to two differences. Like when we talk about location of industries and then localization of industries. Okay, so location of industries is simply the siting of an industry, if I say location of a firm, the siting of a firm in a geographical location. That's just what it is. Now, what is localization of industries or localization of firms? That is simply the siting of a firm or an industry where other firms are. Okay, so that's just what we're talking about. So in these two cases, there could be economies of scale, that is, the long run average cost could be reducing, that is, we've been on this portion of the long run average cost curve, or it could be increasing, that is, being on this part. So in this video, we shall be talking about the four of them, that is, internal economies of scale, external economies of scale, internal diseconomies of scale, and then external diseconomies of scale. Now, I believe I've defined the whole thing to you, so we are going to be treating one example now of a Nigerian firm that manufactures, of a Chinese firm rather, that manufactures tires, but then imports a major raw material, which is rubber, from Nigeria. All right, so we want to see this Chinese firm is actually operating in China alone, but then the board of directors and all of those interested parties decided to have another plant in Nigeria. Okay, because the raw materials are being sourced from Nigeria, which is rubber. Okay, but then why don't this firm site a plant that is close to the raw material in Nigeria? So this firm decides that, okay, instead of having our plant here alone, instead of having our company here alone, why don't we just have another branch in Nigeria? Then we are going to see what's going to happen in the first instance and then in the second instance. Now, in the very first instance, we have this, the total cost is 150,000, and then the shipping cost, that is the cost of shipping raw materials, which is rubber, from Nigeria to China, is 200,000 naira for this particular example. Then the cost of labor and the cost of capital respectively in China, okay, where the first company was, or where the first branch of the company was, 40,000 and 50,000 each respectively. That is, the cost of labor is 40,000 naira, but you convert it to the Nigerian naira, and the cost of capital in China is 50,000 naira. Okay, so 20 units of labor is used, or 20 units of labor hours, and then 10 units of capital are also used. Okay, and then you see all of this combination, they use them to produce a quantity that is 500 tires. Since Q is 500, that is 500 tires. Now, what is the total cost? Total cost is simply calculated as the price of labor multiplied by labor plus the price of capital multiplied by capital, then plus the shipping cost, which I denote as SC. Now, this is just an example because costs are usually larger than this. Okay, this is just an example. Since the price of labor is 40,000, so we just have 40,000 into bracket 20 into of labor is used, plus 500,000 the price of capital, plus 50,000 rather, the price of capital multiplied by 10, then plus 200,000, which happens to be the shipping cost of raw material, of rubber from Nigeria to the Chinese plant. Now, the total cost now is 800,000 plus, this is 500,000 plus 200,000. So we have a total cost of 1.5 million naira. 1.5 million naira. Now, what is the average cost? Since the quantity is 500, so we just have 1.5 million divided by 500, and the average cost is 3,000. That is cost per unit of tire, okay, is 3,000 naira. Now, this firm decides, okay, let's just have a new plant, let's just have a new branch in Nigeria. So what then happens? So in this second instance, since they are already citing these new plants in Nigeria, there's no shipping cost anymore, shipping cost of raw material. Okay, so what we just have is assume no shipping cost, and then the cost of labor is 27,000 naira in Nigeria, and then the cost of capital is 15,000 naira. Now with Q, okay, Q is 500. Okay, so that is this company wants to double its output, with Q being 500. Now, labor is still 20, okay, 20 of labor is still used, then capital is still 10 of capital is still used. Now, what is the total cost in this particular case? The total cost here is 27,000 multiplied by this 27,000 multiplied by 20 units of labor, that is following this formula that we have here, plus 55,000 now, 55,000 naira, that is the cost of capital multiplied by the units of capital used. Then, no shipping cost, so we are not adding that. So we have 540,000 and 550,000. By the time we do this sum, we have 1,090,000 naira. Now, what is the average cost in this case? The average cost is just 1,090,000 naira divided by 500 because the output here is also 500. So we have an average cost of 2,180. Okay, 2,180 is below what do we have here? 3,000 naira. But then that's just not where the story ends. So for the company as a whole, that is now producing 1,000 tires. Okay, so what is the average cost? That is when the company decides to enlarge to double its plant size. So what is now the average cost? That's what we are really concerned with. So total cost for the two plants equals TC1 plus TC2, which is, what is TC1? TC1 is what we have here. Okay, 1.7. Okay, let me add one more zero. Sorry for that. Okay, we have 1.5 million, then plus 1,090,000. So all of that gives us 2,590,000. Now, by the time we divide that, to get the average cost, we have to divide that by the quantity. But remember that in this particular case, Q is not going to be 500 anymore. So we have 500 for the first plant, 500 for the other plants, and then that is 1,000. So this divided by this, then we have 2,590. Now, we can. It is obvious that from the expansion that this Chinese tire manufacturing company has done, it has been able to reduce its average cost successfully. Alright, so in this particular case, we say that this farm is now enjoying what type? Actually, that's going to be internal economies of scale. So we are going to be treating the next example now, where this farm is going to be experiencing an internal diseconomies of scale. Is that possible? Let's see. Now, this is the other case. Assume there are two other costs now. Advertisement cost 200,000 naira, and then taxes 300,000 naira. Q is still 500, and then other things are still the same. Other things are still the same as in our previous case. That is the previous case. So what is going to happen now is the average cost rising or falling. It is not strange for there to be advertisement cost now, since this firm is just developing product that's just entering the market, and then the Nigerian government might feel that this new company, that is this new branch, is going to be an impediment to the local manufacturing company. So it decides to impose a tax that is up to 300,000 naira on the firm. So is the average cost rising or falling? Now, how do we calculate the total cost first? We know average cost is simply total cost divided by quantity. So total cost in this case, which I call total cost 3, is 27,000 multiplied by 20 plus 55,000 multiplied by 10, then plus, remember that this is Nigeria now, so that all of these are still the same. This is the price of labor here, this is the price of capital in Nigeria, then we have this as the advertisement cost, and then we have this as the taxes. So this multiplied by this will give us 540,000 plus 550,000, then plus the sum of this is 500,000. So we get everything together, and then we have 1,590,000. So what is the average cost here? So remember that this new plant, this new firm is producing 500 units on its own. So we just divide all through by 500, and then we have 3180. Now what is the total cost for both plants? For both plants we have total cost 1 plus total cost 3. So which is 1.5 million then plus 1,590,000, and that gives us 3,090,000. Okay, but now the quantity is gonna be 500 plus 500. Okay, that is, this firm is increasing its output. So we now have 3090 divided by 1000, and then the average cost is 3090. Now is average cost rising or falling? Remember that in the very first case, when this Chinese firm has not decided to expand, that is, when it hasn't decided to open up a new plant, open up a new branch in Nigeria, its average cost was 3,000 naira. Okay, now the average cost is 3,090, simply because it is trying to expand. So does this mean that this plant is going to be generating profits or losses, or does this mean that this farm is going to be having a lower profits, okay, compared to this particular point? We can't really say, because it depends on many other things, as well as the price of the commodity in Nigeria. Okay, so if the price of the commodity in Nigeria happens to be greater than the price of the commodity in China, the reverse might be the case. There might be more profits in Nigeria in spite of this increasing average cost. Now, in the other way around, when the average cost was falling, that doesn't also guarantee that there's going to be a higher profit. It depends on the market size, it depends on the price of the product, it depends on the taste for the product, as well as several other factors. Let's talk about this economies of scale. So this economies of scale, like I explained earlier, is divided into two. Okay, it has one particular portion that leads to a reduction in average cost, and then it has another portion that leads to an increase in the long run average cost. Okay, so now I'm going to cite an example. We have a case 3 of a firm that happens to be manufacturing computers. It manufactures 100 computers on a monthly basis. So this is a particular question. A firm, that's the name of the firm, is A firm has a total cost of 700,000 naira for producing computers. Its electricity bill is 200,000 naira. The firm produces 100 computers. If there were 40 of such firms, the Power Holding Company of Nigerian PLC, PHCN, charges 5 million naira. If all information were monthly based, does a firm enjoy economies of scale? Now, if we have people here, people viewing this, that are Nigerians or are conversant with Nigeria, with some places in Nigeria, you would recall a place called Computer Village at Ikeja. Okay, so that's an example of a place where firms could really enjoy economies of scale, excellent economies of scale, because you don't get to see just a single firm that sells computers, whether software, hardware, and all of that over there. You get to see many of them. Okay, so that's an example of a place where external economies of scale could be reaped. I'm not saying it's being reaped there. I'm just saying that is where a place where external economies of scale could be reaped. So this is the question. So how do we go about it? Now, what we just have to do is to find the average cost on both occasions. Average cost when a firm is alone, and then the average cost when there are when there are 40 firms, including a firm in that particular place. Okay. For a firm alone, total cost is 700,000. Then what does that mean? That simply means the electricity bill is 200,000 naira, and other costs. So we've calculated every other thing as other things as other costs. 500,000 naira. So the sum of the two of them will give us 700,000 naira. So average cost when this firm is alone is simply 700,000 naira divided by 100, and that is 7,000 naira. Now, if firms are 40, okay, in within that particular location, that is, we have localization of industry there, localization of firms there, electricity bill for each firm is simply, so that's going to be the total cost. The PHCN, the Power Holding Company of Nigerian PLC, will charge 5 million naira. So it's simply 5 million naira divided by the number of firms there. Now, when we do that, each firm is going to be paying an electricity bill of 125,000 naira. 125,000, which is different from the 200,000 naira this firm was paying when it was alone. Now, FMTC now is going to be the electricity bill, that is 125,000 naira plus other costs, okay, because other costs are not changing. 500,000 naira. So what then do we have? We have 625,000 naira in total. Now, what is the average cost of this firm now? The average cost is 625,000 naira divided by 100. That is the number of computers it produces. Now, that is going to give us 6,250. So now, because of this localization that has occurred, we have a firm enjoying 650. Is it 750 naira of the electricity bill that is going to be paying per unit of every computer. So because this is 7, so when it does 7,000 minus 6,250, we should be having 750. So there is an external economies of scale here because the average cost is lower than if the firm were alone. So it is enjoying the benefits of being together with other firms. Now, case 4. Now, case 4 is simply the period where there is external economies of scale. That is, we have this A firm that is alone, and then we then have other firms around it, okay. But in this particular case, we are going to discover that the average cost of a firm is going to rise because of something which we are going to look at soon. And that thing is really the fact that there is one particular firm in around that area that pollutes the environment. Okay, the firm pollutes the environment, and thus it represents an additional cost to a firm. It leads to a firm incurring additional costs in pollution abatement, that is in clearing the pollution. Now, if a firm decides to clear the pollution, okay, we assume that it's going to cost a firm an additional 150,000 naira to do that. Okay, and if a firm decides to go the legal way, that is make sure that is file a lawsuit against the company that is polluting the environment, that suit is going to cost a firm 150,000 naira. You know, a firm is going to bring in a lawyer, employ a lawyer, pay the lawyer, then the litigation process, the cost of everything. So we assume that in this case it is also 150,000, which is not the cost that a firm would have incurred on its own, but then it has to incur that cost because there is this other firm that is just polluting the environment to the detriment of a firm, to the detriment of the workers of a firm and perhaps the customers of a firm. So then what do we realize? So that cost initially is 700,000 naira, and 700,000 naira divided by 100 in the first case when a firm was alone is 7,000 naira. So the average cost here is 7,000 naira. But because there are additional firms and there is this other firm that pollutes the environment, okay, the cost of pollution abatement then is 150,000 naira. Now remember that a firm is still producing 100 units, so it is not incurring more cost in order to increase the quantity produced and sold. This is incurring more costs to just save itself from the pollution that is happening around it. Right. So in that case, we have the average cost to being 850,000 naira. That is the 700,000 naira that it incurs on its own to produce its own 100 computers on a monthly basis, and then the 150,000 naira that it has to incur on a monthly basis, or if that just has to incur in order to, yeah, it could be on a monthly basis really. That just has to incur in order to okay, that has to incur because of the pollution. So in that case, we have 850,000 divided by 100. Now we have average cost to being 8,500. So what is then discovered? We have average cost rising from 7,000 to 8,500. Now this is an increase in the average cost because of more firms around a firm. Okay, and this simply means there's going to be an external diseconomies of scale. There's an external diseconomies of scale already because this firm would have been better off if it were alone. Now, in summary, you see all of these parts of the long run average cost curve, all of these parts, okay, is talking about economies of scale. Let me just call it E of S. Okay, that is economies of scale. There is some of these parts where average cost begins to rise. Then we call it diseconomies of scale. So I can just call it D of S. Alright, so be it internal economies of scale or external economies of scale, long run average cost curve will be falling, and be it internal diseconomies of scale or external diseconomies of scale, long run average cost will be rising. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any question or you need any clarification, please comment and leave your comments in the comment section. We'll attend to them as quickly as possible. So please, if you really enjoyed this video, click the like button, then you can subscribe to our channel in order to enjoy more videos from us. Thank you very much once again. I'm Oluwole Godwin.